Good day everyone! This is Teacher Novi and for today's video, i-discuss ko ang Quarter 1, Week 2, Lesson 3 ng Mathematics 9. This is Solving Quadratic Equations by Completing the Square. Our learning objective for today's lesson, solve quadratic equations by completing the square. Before tayo makapag-proceed sa solving, kailangan muna nating mag-review ng lesson ninyo during your grade 8. So, kailangan nating malaman kung paano mag-transform ng perfect square trinomial into a square of binomial. If we have this example, x squared plus 2x plus 1. This is an example of a perfect square trinomial. Bakit? Kasi ang first term niya and then yung last term niya ay perfect square. And then for the middle term, this is twice the product of the squares of the first term and then the last term. Paano natin ito i-convert sa square of binomial? Ang gagawin lang natin, kunin mo yung square root ng first term, yung x squared. The square root of x squared is x. And then get the operation sa nasusumusunod kay first term, which is the addition. And then, kunin mo yung square root ng last term. So, plus 1. Then, quantity squared. Another example, we have x squared plus 20x plus 100. Let's convert it to a square of binomial. So, ang mangyayari, kunin mo yung square root ng x squared. And then, the operation next to it. And then, the square root of the last term, which is 10. So, the square root of 100 is 10. Ang itsura na niya is quantity x plus 10 squared. And then, another one, we have 25x squared minus 20x plus 4. Let's transform it into a square of binomial. Kunin mo yung square root ng first term. Ang square root ng 25x squared ay 5x. And then, the operation next to it, which is minus. And then, the square root of the last term, which is 2. Ayan. Ang itsura niya is quantity 5x minus 2 squared. Nakuha? Okay, that is just for the review. So, mag-proceed tayo. Another method of solving quadratic equations is by completing the square. This method involves transforming the quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0 into the form quantity x minus h squared equals to k, wherein k should not be, or wherein k should be greater than or equal to 0. Hindi pwedeng maging less than 0 ang value ni k for us to obtain a real number solution. To solve the quadratic equation by completing the square, we must follow these steps. So we have 7 steps, I think. Oh yeah, it's 7 steps. So isa-isahin natin yan using some examples. Okay? Find the solutions of 2x squared plus 12x minus 14 equals to 0 by completing the square. Step 1. Okay. So if this is our quadratic equation, 2x squared plus 12x minus 14 equals to 0. Okay. Step 1. Divide both sides of the equation by the coefficient a, then simplify. Ang a natin dito, or value ng a is 2. So, we have to divide both sides of the equation by 2. So, ganyan ang itsura niya. And then, simplify. 2x squared divided by 2 is equal to x squared. 12x divided by 2 is equal to 6x. And then, minus 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7. And of course, kabilang side ng equation, 0 divided by 2 is equal to 0. Then, step 2, we have to rewrite the equation sa form na binigay kanina. Yung quantity x minus h squared equals to k. So, yung constant term natin, ilalagay natin sa kabilang side ng equation. Ang constant term natin dito ay si negative 7. So, x squared plus 6x is equal to 7. Naging positive na siya kasi pag nagta-transform tayo, di ba, mapapalitan yung sign. And the next step, step 3, Add the square of 1/2 the coefficient b on both sides of the resulting equation. Then the left side of the equation becomes a perfect square trinomial. So yung left side ng equation natin, itong x squared plus 6x, gagawin natin siyang perfect square trinomial. Paano? Yung value daw ng b is 1, 6. I-divide natin into 2. Ayan, dito sa baba. So, 6, or get the 1/2 of 6. Ang 1/2 ng 6 ay e. And then, i-square mo yon. Ang sagot niya is 9. Itong 9, i-add mo on both sides of the equation. So, ang mangyayari, ganyan. Okay? Plus 9 and plus 9 dito. Kaya itong side na to, perfect square trinomial na yan. Okay? Next, mag-simplify. I-add natin yung 7 and 9. So, x squared plus 6x plus 9 is equal to 16. Now, for the next step, express the perfect square trinomial on the left side of the equation as a square of a binomial. So, itong x squared plus 6x plus 9, gagawin nating square of binomial. Paano ulit? Get the square root of the first term and then the last term. Okay? The square root of x squared is x. And then get the operation next to it. Plus the square root of 9, which is 3. Then quantity squared equals to 16. So, i-copy mo lang yung 16 doon. And then for the next step, solve the resulting quadratic equations by extracting the square root. So, babalik tayo sa first lesson ng solving quadratic equations by extracting square roots. So, extract the square root of both sides. Ang matitira na lang, x plus 3 is equal to positive negative square root of 16. Remember class na kapag nag-extract kayo ng square root, always na positive or negative yung sagot natin. Kasi dalawa yan. Okay? So, simplify. X plus 3 is equal to positive negative 4. This is now the square root of 16. 4. Okay? For the next step ulit. So, we are down on the second to the last step. Solve the resulting linear equations. Okay. Ito na yung nakuha natin kanina na x plus 3 is equal to positive negative 4. Pinaghiwalay lang natin para ma-solve natin yung values ng x. Okay? So, mag-simplify na tayo. Unahin muna natin itong x plus 3 equals to 4. Nag-transpose na tayo ng number sa kabilang side ng equation. Kaya naging x is equal to 4 minus 3. Simplify. 4 minus 3 is equal to 1. Okay, the first value of x is 1. Sa kabila naman, itong x plus 3 is equal to negative 4. Ayan, nag-transpose ulit. Negative 4 minus 3 is equal to negative 7. Therefore, ang value ng x natin or the roots of the quadratic equation are 1 or negative 7. Okay, for our checking, para malaman natin kung tama ba yung sagot natin, for x is equal to 1, substitute natin siya sa original equation, 2x squared plus 12x minus 14. So, pag nag-equal to 0 yung sagot natin, ibig sabihin tama yung roots na nakuha natin. Okay, substitute. 2 times 1 squared plus 12 times 1 minus 14. Simplify. Okay. So, 2 times 1 is 2 plus 12 minus 14. 2 plus 12 is equal to 14 and 14 minus 14 is equal to 0. Therefore, x equals to 1 is a root of this equation. Next, for x equals to negative 7, substitute to the original equation. Ayan. Mag-simplify ka. Negative 7 times negative 7 is 49. 12 times negative 7 is 84. And then 12 times negative 7 is negative 84 minus 14. Okay, simplify. 2 times 49 is 98 minus 84 minus 14 is equal to 0. Next, 98 minus 84 is 14. And then minus 14 is equal to 0. Therefore, negative 7 is a root of this equation. Okay, let's have another example. Find the solutions of x squared minus 8x minus 9 equals to 0. Following the same steps. Solution. Since 1 na yung value ng a natin, pag divide pa natin yan ng 1, the same pa rin yung sagot. Kaya, ganyan na yan. Okay? I-transform na lang natin into the form x minus h quantity squared equals to k. And then, gawin nating perfect square trinomial yung left side ng equation. So, 1/2 of 8 is 4. And then squared, that is equal to 16. So, 16 i-add natin sa both sides ng equation. X squared minus 8x plus 16 is equal to 9 plus 16. Then simplify. 9 plus 16 is 25. This one. And then, transform natin itong x squared minus 8x plus 16 into a square of binomial. So, get the square root of the first term, that is x. And then the operation, minus the square root of the last term, 4. And then quantity squared. Then copy 25. Next, solve the equation by extracting the square root. So, extract the square root of quantity x minus 4 squared equals to 25. Kaya ganito na yung itsura. X minus 4 is equal to positive negative square root of 25. So, what is the square root of 25? That is 5. And then, let's solve for the resulting equations. Paghihiwalayin natin yung dalawa. Kayang mangyayari, ganyan. Unahin natin si positive 5. So, x minus 4 is equal to 5. Simplify natin. Kaya ang sagot is x equals to 9. So, for negative 5, ito naman, x minus 4 is equal to negative 5. So, negative 5 plus 4 is equal to negative 1. And then, cancel out naman yan. Kaya x is equal to negative 1. Let's check if we got the correct answer. For x equals to negative 9, substitute it to the original equation. Ayan. And then simplify. 9 times 9 is 81. Negative 8 times 9 is negative 72 minus 9. 81 minus 72 is 9. Minus 9, that is equal to 0. Okay, so x is equal to 9 is correct. How about x is equal to negative 1? Substitute sa original equation. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Negative 8 times negative 1 is positive 8 minus 9. Then 1 plus 8 is 9 minus 9 is equal to 0. Kaya correct yung answer natin na negative 1. Nakuha? Okay, very good. So that's all for our lesson. I hope meron kayong natutunan. Stay home, stay safe, and God bless everyone. Bye!